Good morning everyone and welcome to Jules Tea Talk channel. Who are your most influential people in your life? Write it down on a paper and comment in my video. Well, today I'm going to share with you 5 of the most influential people in my life. Many times when people ask you this question, you will think, who is the mentor in my career? Usually it's the first person that was assigned to you as a buddy when you start your first job in any company. But it isn't the case for me. Some of them don't even know me. Some of them I have briefly met. Some of them I follow like goddess on YouTube. It all first started when I was 14 years old. I had no interest in anything. My interest was just having fun. When this guy, Lawrence Walter, came to my school is located in a very remote place. And somehow he found my school and he came to talk about motivational learning, and it was the first time I heard of such a thing. And I told my mom about it, and my mom was the person who would send me to all types of classes, music class, swimming class, art class, any class that you can name it, I will be there. And she said, go ahead and go for it. And I went with my best friend. You know, my objective was just to have fun. But little did I know, when I came back from the 3-day seminar, I was a totally transformed person. I became very aware about my surroundings, and he taught me to think about my learning goals. For the first time, I had a goal to achieve. In the past, I never even thought about it. I just thought about just sailing through school, and that's it. I never thought about money. Money didn't become an issue in my life. My dream when I was a child was to be a cashier, to press all those buttons that makes a lot of nice sound, ding, and the cash would come out. But the cash itself was something that didn't matter to me because I didn't understand the value of money. But after I attended the class, I realized that I need to have a direction in my life. He taught me that I attract what I focus on every day. So the more I focus on the thing, the more I attract it to my life. And that's when I learned about, I want to score A's. I become super competitive. He taught me all the kinds of skills, learning skills like drawing mind maps. It was the first time I knew how to draw those clouds, those branches to different clouds, and I would use it on every subject I learned, and I would draw all types of mind maps and paste it all over my wall. And my mom gave me this storeroom, the family storeroom, to become my personal study room. And the entire study room was wallpapered with my mind maps. I was a little bit shy about it. When my friends came over, I would really close it up and not let anyone see, because I was so in Malaysian terms, so kiasu. I just want to hit my goal. And because of that, I was so nerdy, and I focused all my time on learning, to study, to achieve the goal. And I never put any effort on anything else, like learning about the world, know what are the latest singers, the latest dance moves, the latest news. I had no interest in that. He taught me the importance of using classical music to learn. So all the music that I know at that time were all classical music, like Beethoven, Mozart. I was really this nerd and boring girl. And I really performed much better than I was before. Previously, I was a below average student, and after that, I became an above average student, but not the top student. And then later on in life, when I went to college, somehow I came upon my second person that influenced my life, which is Adam Khoo. Somehow I came across his book that was called I'm Gifted and So Are You. And the values that he taught in that book was really similar to what Lawrence Walter taught me. And I started to relate that, hey, I am seeing a pattern in this. Meaning that, I need to be focused if I want to achieve my goals, to be really dedicated. And I was so interested in reading Adam Khoo's blogs. And everything that he wrote about himself, I could truly relate to it. He was in the education business initially, and then he started to move into investments, stock trading, and that's what caught my interest later on in my life, to be exposed to more on investments. I started to buy a lot of self-help books and investment books to teach myself financial literacy at a young age, and I had a whole library of it. I was so crazy. But one thing he taught me, You may have all types of seafoods in the world. You need to find one that really speaks to you, that really works for you, because everybody is successful in their own way. Some people make money from stock trading. Some people make money from property investment. Some people make money from YouTube. Success comes from different ways. Find one that suits you and be persistent in it. And this is something that he taught me. My third mentor I met was Dan Lok. I met him during the pandemic period when I was in the midst of a very tough time in my job. I was at the verge of losing my job for some reason. I was going through a very depressing period where I just didn't have the drive to move on. I was depressed for kind of a few days, and then I told myself that I need to move on. I had to look for another job at the time, and I started to look for videos in YouTube that inspired me. And one of the YouTube videos that I came about was Dan Lok's How to Introduce Yourself in an Interview. It was so appropriate to me at the time when I was looking for a job. And I was in my previous job for 16 years, and at the time I never had this desire to move jobs, never had this desire to write a resume or even to go for an interview. It sort of pushed me out my comfort zone. And because I was really desperate to find another job, I really went through his videos to learn how to do well in interview. It was in one of the videos he taught me about how to record myself, introducing myself to the interviewer, so doing something different. And I did all that. I record a video about myself, my past experience, and what I wanted to do. And I prepared my resume in a very detailed manner. I was prepared to just send the resume to any organization that I thought I wanted to work in. But somehow, fate had it, I couldn't find something that interests me. So I kept this video and this resume for a couple of months. And after 4 months, somehow a friend of mine called me and asked me whether I was interested in the job. I didn't even know what kind of position I was applying for, and it was my only interview I attended. And I really excelled in the interview because I was very prepared. I already went through that motion of it. And it taught me a lesson that sometimes when you're going through a very tough time, things will get better. That depressing moment in my job was the thing that propelled me to look for another job out of my comfort zone. And my next job gave me a lot of exposure in communication and leadership. I realized I really was interested to coach people on communication, to coach people on leadership. At that time, I didn't have much experience in leadership, and I wanted to teach myself how to be a better manager, how to be a better leader, how to speak well, to present well to the people around me, my staff. And I started to make YouTube videos. So there was this video that Dan Lok introduced to me, how to make YouTube videos. And from there, I started to learn, hey, this is actually not bad. I started to train myself to be a better leader by making YouTube videos to share what I learned with other people. I have to tell you, I'm not an expert, but I have used what I learned from various seafoods. I've merged everything I learned into one resource in my head and personalized it so that I can share it with you, what I think are the best traits of a great communicator and a great leader. Well, coming to my fourth mentor is Vivi Yusuf. I came across her when I was reading a newspaper article talking about this young entrepreneur who was much younger than me, and she started this blog when she was just a student in university. And I was reading through her blog for many days, and I was so interested in her life. And then, at that time, she was trying to set up a startup company selling her own Malaysian designer modest wear women's clothes. And I could see her progress from there, her determination, and she was a very driven woman. She has a family of 4 kids, and I think that's super amazing because I have 2 kids. I think I'm a super mom. She has 4 kids, managing a company of her own, and having this influencer life, able to share with people about what she has learned, how to teach people the best practices. And I really admire what she did. And there's one thing that she taught me, it relates so well to me, That is that, being a family person, being a mom, you can't split yourself everywhere, right? You have a business to run, you have family, you have so many kids to take care of. Focus on quality time instead of quantity time. I see many mothers who they spend a lot of quantity time with their family. They are always beside their family, but they don't communicate a lot, meaning they don't know what's happening in their children's life. All they do is fetch their children around for all sorts of classes, but they don't really communicate to each other. And I think that's really sad. And it's very important, especially the growing up years, that we do spend more time with our kids, individually, understand what they like, they enjoy, have conversations with them about their school, how's your friends, any interesting things that happen in school that they wanted to share. I would share things that happen in my office, funny happenings, and we always have a good laugh during dinner time. Dinner times are our family time, and I really love women all over the world to do the same, to prioritize your own careers as well as your family. Time management, not to depend on a man. Be your own person. Get your own financial freedom through your own efforts will give you a lot of freedom to make decisions on your own. My fifth mentor that influenced my life is Vin Jiang. Vin Jiang is somebody I met a few months ago when I was going through videos on how to improve my communication skills, because communication skills is something that you really have to put effort to learn it. Even though I am a native English speaker at home, I realized that my ability to communicate, to tell information to others is not that strong. You may be able to speak to others, but when you want to communicate an idea, or you want to influence, or rally everyone towards an idea, that is really a special technique. You need to learn how to capture the interest of the people. The most important lesson of all his videos that he taught me was the ability to storytell. Because you can tell 10 technical things to your team in an hour, and I bet you they may be only remembering one point that you were talking about. So anything that you talk about, you need to relate it to a story, you need to tell it in a way that they can understand in their language. Put an analogy to it so that it becomes very interesting. A technical topic can be something that you can easily relate even to an old lady, someone who's not in that field. These are the people that I follow up to today. And there's one thing that stands out among all these 5 mentors. There's something that is so profound in what they do. What do these 5 people have in common? I would say their determination. I would say they are weird in every way, meaning that they do things that are really odd, that makes them stand apart from other people. For example, Vivi, she reads 4 books a month. Despite her crazy schedule, she's able to continue learning. That's what is so important, to have lifelong learning. Your learning doesn't stop when you are 20, when you finish college. Your learning will continue until you're old. And that is something that should be ingrained in everyone. She will do things like read every chapter and write what she learned in every chapter, and that's something that Vin Jiang does as well. And I think all these are really weird things that they do that normal people won't do. They will just read a book and chuck it aside. But I realized that, hey, these are really wonderful and smart habits that I want to follow, because after I read a book, I want to make use of the time that I used to learn from this book, because I can impart the knowledge that I learned from this person to another person, so that I can create an impact in their lives. And I want to tell you that it's okay to be weird. It's okay to have all these weird characteristics, as long as they bring you to that final destination. So I want to encourage you, don't worry if you're weird, because all these weird things are the factors that will propel you to your success. So I hope you enjoyed this very, very long-winded video. I hope you are still there at this end of the video. And I hope to see you in my next video for my next sharing. Thank you, and if you like this video, do share with me your 5 most influential persons in your life. Thank you everyone, and hope to see you in my next video. Goodbye!